What's up everybody, Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax. In this video, I'm bringing you my top 10 speed power prospects with a Bowman Chrome Auto under $30. Stay tuned. So for this video, I didn't really use my personal top 10. I chose to use some filters. The first filter I started with was the most stolen bases in the minor leagues. Then I added the following filters: a 190 plus ISO, a 240 plus batting average, a sub 30 K percentage, and comps under $30. I use this complete formula to gather my top 10 list. Now, although I used filters to generate my list, I did rank these guys based on my personal preference. And at number 10, we have Logan Cerny with the Houston Astros. He's 23.4, an outfielder, and he played in A-ball this year, so he's way too old for the level. He was drafted in 2020, so he lost a year of development along with a lot of those guys in 2020. He's had rough career K numbers. You can see he's got the highest career K percentage on this list at 29.3, but he managed to hit 15 home runs and steal 35 bags in 372 plate appearances. He had the least amount of plate appearances of any player on this list and still managed to do some damage. Now, with Cerny and also Edison Paulino, they played in A-ball, and A-ball stolen bases tend to be a bit inflated. There's just not that many competitive catchers behind the plate or pitchers really trying to hold runners at that level, so those numbers inflate at the A level quite a bit. At number 9, we have Grant McCray with the San Francisco Giants. He is the second highest ranked outfielder in the Giants organization behind Luis Matos. He's 22.2, played the majority of his games in A-ball. Actually, 90% of his plate appearances came in low A and only 10% came in high A. And he was 21 playing at that level, so very old for the level as well. Now, he hit 298. He had the best year of his career. Hit 298 with a 225 ISO, but his K numbers were pretty rough. He had a 29.8 K percentage, just barely qualifying based on the filters, and his career K percentage is at 29 as well. But like I said, he had the best season of his career. He hit 23 home runs, the most power output Grant McCray's had, and he stole 43 bases. And like I said, with Paulino and Cerny, the majority of these bases were in low A, but 43 is a pretty high number. Now, Grant McCray is probably one of the more risky prospects on this list, and his autos are actually right at the $30 mark, so he's kind of a risky guy. You know, he may really struggle in high A. He didn't do very well in high A in the short sample size that he had, but based on his K numbers, he may struggle in the upper minors or he may adjust. But I just know that Grant McCray right now is showing some signs that he's still pretty raw. A phenomenal athlete, but still a bit raw. At number 8, we've got Elijah Dunham with the New York Yankees. He's 24.8, just under 25, an outfielder, played in Double A this year. Between 485 plate appearances at 248 with a 21.2 K percentage and a 1.74 K to walk ratio. Elijah Dunham's put up really excellent K numbers in 22 and throughout his career. He's only played 2 seasons in the minors because he was a 2020 draft like Cerny, and this is only his second season in professional baseball, and he was an older draftee, so his age kind of beats him just based on the situation. But he had a really big year. He didn't really hit for a whole lot of average, but he hit 17 home runs and stole 37 bases in Double A, and his career K numbers are pretty solid. Now, the Yankees outfield is pretty stacked right now with Dominguez and Oswaldo Cabrera out there, and I'm not really sure how he's going to play into that rotation. He may be a platoon guy, but his autos are really cheap. They're around $15 right now. And Dunham's also a guy that got a non-roster invite to 2023 Big League Camp, so we should see quite a bit of him in spring training in 2023, which is currently going on right now. At number 7, we've got Edison Paulino with the Boston Red Sox, 20.7 years old. He's the youngest player on this list, along with Jonathan Clase, who we'll get to in the next slide. He's an infielder. He played the majority of his games at shortstop, but he also had some reps at second base, third base, in the outfield, and he could kind of transition into a utility player down the road. Really depends on what he does offensively, and the more places he can play defensively will get him more opportunity to get his bat in the lineup in the higher levels. So he had the best career K numbers on this list. He's got an 18.6 career K percentage and a 1.53 K to walk ratio. In 2022, in low A, he hit 266 with a 200 plus ISO. Now, he had 13 home runs, which was the lowest on this list, and 27 stolen bases. And as I mentioned before, the low A stolen bases are a bit inflated, but he could grow into some more power as he fills out his frame. He's already hit 13 home runs at the age. He was about 19 to start the season, but he had a really good year in 2022, and hopefully he can have a better year in 2023. His autos right now are around $15. At number 6, we have a big dark horse sleeper, Cade Marlowe, who was a 20th round draft pick in the 2019 draft, but he's currently one of the top outfield prospects in the Seattle upper minor system. Now, he's the oldest player on this list at 25.7. He's a center fielder who played between AA and AAA this year, hit 23 home runs and stole 42 bases, which is really exceptional. Now, the only knock that he has really is his age. He's hit for average. He hit 287 in 2022 with a 200 ISO. Fringe K numbers, 26.9 K percentage and 2.51 K to walk ratio, which is kind of right in the middle between good and bad for me. But his career numbers are really stellar. He's hit and he's performed and produced since he was drafted in 2019 with a career batting average of 285, 222 ISO, and similar K numbers to what he put up in 2022. So he's an older player with really good numbers in the upper minors, $25 auto, and like I said, he's one of the top outfield prospects in the Seattle upper minors, but there's a lot of competition in that organization, especially with J-Rod, who's a lock and center, and guys like Kelenic who are still trying to figure it out. It may be tough for Marlowe to crack the big leagues as anything but a platoon player in 2023. Now, if you guys are into Bowman Chrome baseball cards and you enjoy this content, I've got a ton of exclusive content over on my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the description. I've got Bowman Chrome autograph checklist breakdowns for every Bowman release since 2019. I've got a top 100 Bowman Chrome autographs checklist and a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list. I also do free giveaways and have a private Let's Talk Wax Discord server. And like I said, if you want to help support the channel and check out some of my exclusive content, head over to my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the description. Breaking into our top 5 is another one of the youngest prospects on this list with Edinson Paulino, Jonathan Clase with the Seattle Mariners. He's a legit center fielder. He had a really big year. He had a career high in ISO, stolen bases, and batting average in 2022. He hit 22 doubles, 11 triples, and 13 home runs. And he's currently getting some reps at big league camp right now on TV as a 20.7-year-old. So his name is going to get around, I think, in the next month or two. He's a really big prospect in the Seattle organization who was just a bit old for the level. He's 20.7. He played some of the season as a 19-year-old, but he also played some as a 20-year-old A-ball, which is a little old for me. He hit 267 with a 196 ISO. He had Marlowe-esque K numbers. He's right in the middle, between good and bad. 26.6 K percentage and 2.05 K to walk ratio. What I look for in good K numbers is a sub 20 K percentage and a sub 2 K to walk ratio. But Clase hit 13 home runs to go along with all of his doubles, and he stole 55 bags. Now, I've talked about the padding of stolen bases in low A, but anybody who has 55 stolen bases at any level has impact speed, and I think we'll see that impact speed next year in high A. I think he'll steal several bases next year as well. But we wanted to see what the power does. He does have one of the lower ISOs on this list at 196, but from what I've read, the kid's a complete grinder. He's a really good athlete, and his career numbers match up to what he did in 2022. His season in 2022, he actually increased his ISO by 20 points, so that's pretty important to note. And his autos are right around $20 right now, but I think if he keeps getting TV time as one of the younger players, in spring training, his prices may increase a little bit. I see a lot of people looking for him on social media outlets right now. So Jonathan Clase at number 5. At number 4, we've got Mason Hour, another guy who increased his career ISO by 20 points in 2022. He's 21.9, and he had a 50-50 split between low A and high A this year, but his numbers did not change from his promotion to high A. So he held really solid numbers in low A, really solid numbers in high A, both over the same sample size, which makes him sort of age appropriate because he did play half the games at high A and performed very well. He hit 290 in 2022 with just a sub 200 ISO, 20.1 K percentage, really good, and a 2.00 K to walk ratio. Now, Hour hit 15 home runs and stole 48 bags. And like I said, I think 20 plus of those came at the high A level, so he wasn't padding his numbers in low A. Now he's got the highest career average on this list at 289, 178 career ISO. Like I said, he increased that by 20 points in 2022, and really good K numbers on his career as well. Now he's a $30 auto, one of the more expensive players on this list. And one thing to note is he did struggle a bit in the Arizona Fall League this year. He didn't perform up to par, but hopefully he can bounce back in 2023 and have a big year for the Rays. At number 3, we've got Joey Weimer, who is going to, of course, make this list because he doesn't have a Bowman Chrome Auto yet. He's only got a first Chrome in 2022 Bowman Chrome. So his first Chromes are selling for around $1 right now. And I got into some colored refractors and things like that. I think I saw a blue selling for around 25. But if you can pick up some refractors and some low numbered color of Joey Weimer, that's going to put you probably in the $30 range. Now he's 24.1's second year in the major leagues. He was also a 2020 draftee that missed a complete year to COVID. He struggled in Double A in the front half of the season, but he absolutely improved in Triple A in the back half. He played really well, hit 256 on the season with a 200 plus ISO. Fringe K numbers, kind of like Marlowe, 26.8 K percentage, 2.67 K to walk ratio, but 21 home runs and 31 stolen bases in the upper minors between Double A and Triple A. Is really impressive. And his career numbers are very consistent with what he did in 2022. There's a lot of projection with Weimer. He's 6'4". He's a big dude. He's got exceptional athleticism, and I really think that he could either flip or flop at the major league level. He's a non-roster invitee to big leagues camp this year, so you're going to see him on TV. You've probably already seen him in a couple games already. But he's a guy that I really like who does not have a first Chrome Auto, so you can look for some low-numbered color first Chromes out of 2022 Bowman Chrome for Joey Weimer. At number 2, I've got Estieri Ruiz. He is now an Oakland A, and he is the projected opening day center fielder for the A's. That move really launched him up in the depth chart, getting traded to the A's this offseason. He's 24 years old. He had some reps in the big leagues last year. Nothing really special. He was up for 17 games and he hit 171 with like a 7.00 K to walk ratio. He had the highest 2022 batting average on this list at 332 and the lowest ISO at 194. But he led all of minor leagues in stolen bases, and he also put up the best K numbers in 2022 with 17.3 K percentage and 1.46 K to walk ratio. So he hit 16 home runs and he stole 85 bases in the upper minors, which is absolutely incredible. Game-changing speed here. So if he can get on base, it's really going to increase his stock. And the fact that he can hit for just a little bit of power makes him an even more intriguing prospect. Now, his career numbers aren't as good as what he did in 2022. He hit 285 for the career in the minors with a 172 ISO. So he bumped his ISO up, bumped his career average up. And his K numbers were also better in 2022 as well. He had a 22.2 K percentage and 2.62 K to walk ratio on his career. Now, he's a $23 auto, one of the more expensive on this list. But like I said, the trade to the A's really opened up some doors for Ruiz, him and JJ Bleday both. And he's really projected right now to possibly be the opening day center fielder for the A's. So you're definitely going to see him on TV in spring training and probably break camp with the big league club. Now, in the number 1 spot is not only one of the best speed power prospects under $30, but in my opinion, one of the best speed power prospects in all of minor league baseball. It's Alexander Canario with the Chicago Cubs. He's 22.8, plays the outfield, played between high A and Triple A this year, and had a blowout year, the best year of his career. He did only hit 252, but he had a 304 ISO, fringe K numbers that were okay, 37 home runs and 23 stolen bases. So he had the most home runs on this list and the least stolen bases on this list, but he still had 37 and 23, which is pretty impressive in the upper minors. Now, career-wise, Canario's ISO increased tremendously. His batting average stayed right around 250, but he increased his his ISO in 2022 by about 60 points. So it's really impressive, especially with the 37 home runs. And he's got fringe career K numbers as well that could go either way, good or bad. Now, the reason I think Canario is so cheap right now at $30, he had a horrific injury in the Dominican Winter League this offseason. He was running out a single to first base. He stepped on the bag wrong and he broke his ankle. It was an awful break. It was a really horrific injury. He also dislocated his shoulder on the fall after the injury, and there's really no rehab timeline for him. I tried to find some information, from the Cubs front office of when they think Canario will return, but there's really no timeline out there. I did see a picture of him on Twitter in front of a Christmas tree wearing a boot, and he had no sling on his shoulder. So I'm hoping that he wasn't hiding crutches and he's actually walking on his boot right now, which leads me to believe that he may be healthy sometime in the middle of the 2023 season, and that's probably the best case scenario. But even if he misses the majority of 2023, he's only 22.8, and he'll have another offseason going into 2024 season to get stronger, to rehab the ankle and hopefully put up the same numbers that he did in 2022. But I'd really expect Canario prices to dip even further just because he's not going to be playing. And like I said, there's no real timeline that's been given by the Cubs on his recovery time with the really terrible ankle injury that he did suffer in the Dominican Winter League. But that's going to be my top 10 prospects that are speed, power, efficient, and under $30. Now, if you guys are into Bowman Chrome baseball cards and you enjoy this content, I've got a ton of exclusive content over on my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the description. You can also check out my website at letstalkwax.com, where you can find all the downloadable PDFs that I put into my video cards, so you can actually sort them and check them out in PDF format. I've got team break guides over there for every release since 2019, and I've recently uploaded a First Chrome and First Chrome Auto database that tells you where to find a prospect's First Chrome card and First Chrome Autograph card for every release since 2019, and all that stuff is free over on the website. I want to give a shout out to everyone who supports me on Patreon. We are up to 265 patrons over on that site. We're building a cool little community, and Let's Talk Wax Discord server is a really fun place to be. But I want to give a shout out to all my level 3 patron supporters: Max, Brad, Bruce Wiley, Chris Kwiatkowski, G Squared Collectibles, Castle Cards, Eric Alonzo, Graham Cochran, Jason Hall, Jonathan Asensio, Andrew Smith, Matthew, Jerry Rudolph, William Depew, JP Navarro, Just Dingers Breaks, Kenny, Larry Canterbury, Lucas Bonita, Supden Bros, 909 Sports Cards, Max Anthony, Michael McDonough, Mike Barrier, Tom Barda, Bird's Eye Breakers, Bo Davies, Christopher Goskinski, Dan the Man, and Cel Cesar. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with prospect and spring training hot sheet all through the 2023 minor league season. I appreciate everyone who supports the channel and everyone who supports me over on Patreon. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I hope y'all have a great day.